I'm 101 years old, and I'm about to tell you something no one ever really tells you. Not your parents, not your therapist, not the books lined up on your nightstand promising clarity and peace. They don't tell you because it's too uncomfortable, too blunt, too real. I've been alive for more than a century. I've buried 2 wives, 1 partner I loved late in life, a daughter, a son, and nearly everyone who knew me when I was young. I've watched the country reinvent itself again and again, and through all of it, I've learned one truth that still sits heavy in my chest every single morning I wake up. We live like we've got all the time in the world, when in reality, we're running on fumes. But I didn't learn that at 100. I didn't learn it at 80. I learned it when I was 35. It just took me another 66 years to actually understand what that moment was trying to teach me. It was September 22, 1957. I remember because it was a Sunday. I'd been planning a barbecue in the backyard. Nothing fancy. Burgers on the grill. My wife, Linda, made her potato salad. We had 2 kids back then. Mark was 6 and Emily was 4. Linda worked part-time at the local library. Smart, warm, the kind of woman who left notes in my lunchbox that just said, "Drive safe." Every morning before I left for work at the manufacturing plant, she'd kiss me on the cheek and say, "See you tonight, Tom." That Sunday, she never made it home. There was a drunk driver on Route 9. They always say that. What they don't tell you, what no one prepares you for, is that when someone dies suddenly, they take all your unsaid words with them. Every "I love you" you thought you'd say later. Every apology you assumed you had time for. Every moment you were too distracted, too tired, too irritated to actually be there. That night, after I put the kids to bed, I sat alone at the kitchen table until the sun came up, and I made myself a promise. I said I would never waste another day. I said I would live intentionally, love without holding back, and stop postponing joy like it was something I could always reschedule. And I broke that promise almost immediately. I thought I was doing better. I hugged my kids longer. I said "I love you" out loud instead of assuming they knew. But life has a way of pulling you back into its current. I remarried. I climbed the corporate ladder. I worried about mortgage payments, college savings, my 401k. The kids grew up. I told myself I'd learned the lesson. I hadn't, not really. Because here's what I didn't understand at 35. What took me 6 more decades to finally grasp. It's not enough to survive a tragedy and tell yourself you've changed. The lesson isn't that life is short. Every greeting card at Walgreens will tell you that. The real lesson is this: you will forget. You'll drift back into autopilot. You'll start believing you have time again. And that forgetting, that slow, quiet slide back into complacency, that's the real tragedy. I married again in 1961. Her name was Carol. Gentle, patient, endlessly kind. We had 40 years together before a stroke took her in her sleep. And my biggest regret from those 40 years isn't the arguments or the financial stress or the rough patches. It's the ordinary Tuesday nights I spent answering emails instead of sitting next to her on the couch. The times I said, "Not now, I'm busy," when she wanted to take a walk around the block. The way I treated so many moments like they were guaranteed. Here's something no one tells you about living this long.
You don't just lose the people you love, you lose them again and again in your memory. Every time you think about them, another missed moment surfaces, another conversation you half listened to, another hug you cut short because you had somewhere else to be. My daughter, Emily, died in 1990. She was 42, breast cancer. I was 65. I sat beside her hospital bed, holding her hand, listening to the machines hum. She looked at me and said, "Dad, I'm sorry I didn't call more." I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell her, "Why are we apologizing now? Why didn't we call each other every day when we still could?" But I didn't. I squeezed her hand and lied. I said, "We had plenty of time." We didn't. My last partner, Ruth, died 3 years ago. We met late in life, 20 years together. And even after everything I'd been through, everything I knew, I still caught myself scrolling on my phone while she was talking. Still sighed when she told the same story for the 10th time. Still thought, I'll pay better attention tomorrow. There wasn't always a tomorrow. You're probably reading this thinking it sounds depressing, thinking, well, everyone dies. You're missing the point. The point isn't that everyone dies. The point is that you're living like you're the exception. Like somehow your life will unfold differently. Like later is a real place you'll eventually arrive at. I can tell you with absolute certainty, later never comes. You think you'll travel when you retire, by then your knees won't cooperate. You think you'll reconnect with your brother after this busy season at work. That season will stretch into decades, and one day he won't be there. You think you'll write that book, learn that language, have that conversation when you have more time, more money, more energy. You won't. Because here's the cruel joke. You have time right now. You just don't treat it like the priceless thing it is. You spend it on nonsense. You spend it on people who drain you. You waste it worrying about things that won't matter 5 years from now. And if you're lucky enough to live as long as I have, you look back and realize you had all the time you needed. You just didn't use it. I'm not telling you to quit your job or abandon your responsibilities. I'm saying something harder than that. Pay attention. Today, right now, look closely at how you're spending your one brief, unrepeatable life. Is your grandmother still alive? Call it today, not this weekend, today. I'm a grandfather. I can tell you exactly what she's doing. She's sitting somewhere quiet, maybe flipping through old photo albums, maybe just staring out the window, telling herself it's okay that no one called, that everyone's busy, that she understands. It still breaks her heart. If your parents are still here, don't wait. When they're gone, you won't care about that argument from years ago. You won't care that they were difficult or didn't always get you. You'll care about the calls you didn't make, the visits you postponed, the afternoons you could have just sat with them and didn't. I know this because I am that parent now. I had 2 children. Emily's been gone for decades. Mark is 78. He visits every Saturday, every single one, rain or shine, and it's still not enough. Not because he isn't a good son, he's wonderful, but because when you truly love someone, no amount of time ever feels sufficient. Every time he leaves, I watch him walk to his car and wonder if I'll see him again. At my age, every goodbye might be the last one. That's not morbid, that's just math. And here's what you need to understand. It's no different for you. Every goodbye might be your last one too. You just don't believe it yet. I have a great-grandson. His name is Noah. He's 17. Last summer, he came to visit me and spent most of the afternoon on his phone. I didn't say anything. What would have been the point? He thinks he has forever. He thinks this moment, sitting with his ancient great-grandfather, will always be available.
It won't. Someday he'll remember that visit, and he'll remember staring at a screen instead of being there, and it'll hurt in a way he can't imagine yet. That's the pain I want to spare you. Not the regret of big mistakes. You can usually make peace with those. I'm talking about the regret of quiet absence, being physically present but mentally elsewhere, treating the people you love like they're permanent fixtures. They aren't. I'm not gonna be here much longer. I can feel it. Not fear, just certainty. My body is tired. It's done its job for over 100 years. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is the idea that you might waste your life the way I wasted so much of mine. Because here's the truth I learned far too late. The moments that matter aren't the big ones. They're not your wedding, your promotion, your retirement party. Those are nice, but they're not what you'll replay at the end. You'll remember a random Tuesday afternoon when your dad showed you how to fix the sink and you stayed patient. A Saturday morning making pancakes when no one was in a hurry. A walk where you listened instead of planning your response. The ordinary moments, the unremarkable ones, the ones where you were fully there. They're available to you right now, but you have to choose them. You have to fight for them, because everything in this world is designed to pull you away. Your phone, your work, your ambitions, your fears. If I could go back and talk to 35-year-old Tom sitting alone at that kitchen table, here's what I'd tell him. You're gonna break that promise you're making tonight, over and over again, because you're human. Your real job isn't to be perfect. Your job is to remember and return. Every time you drift, notice it and come back to attention, to presence, to love. Not perfectly, but persistently. I've been alive for 36,865 days.
I can count on my fingers the days I was fully present. That's my regret. Not that I didn't earn more, or see more, or achieve more. It's that I sleepwalked through my own life. Don't do that. Don't wait until everyone you love is gone to realize you should have loved them better while they were here. Stop reading this and call someone you love. Sit with someone in silence. Look, really look at the people in your life while you still can. Because I promise you, with everything I have left, later never comes.